Being Filipino American, I have always searched for ways to learn about my culture. Other than the language that I speak or the food that we cook, I wanted to discover things about the Philippines before colonization. That was when I learned about our indigenous practice of tattooing. Stories of our people before colonization rarely come to light in the media, especially in mainstream media. But Vogue was able to grace us with the story of Wongod Ogay, also known as Apo Wongod. She is the oldest and also usually known as the last Mababatok artist of her time. Today, I share the impact of how she authentically represents our culture, how she teaches us the strength and resilience when tradition is being restrained, while also using her craft of tattooing to build connection and community, along with preserving the true art of Filipino traditions. Many of you may not know what Mababatok even is. For the Kalinga tribe, being a Mamabatok artist means to inscribe one's ancestral markings on another, usually done in a ceremony. According to Vogue, when marking a man, this meant being minted as a head-hunting warrior. Head-hunting was a part of ritual warfare that had spiritual implications. It was to diffuse conflict within communities by providing justice and balance. But as for women, the most common reason was for fertility and beautification. The Kalinga people believed that it was a sacred practice to have tattoos because you can't bring nothing but the markings on your body to the afterlife. Now, who is Wongod? Wongod was a part of the Kalinga tribe. She was the only female tattoo artist of her time. Starting at the age of 15 under her father as an apprentice, she was able to do her craft on many warriors. That was until the practice of headhunting was banned in the 1900s by Americans. Headhunters were labeled as bloodthirsty savages. Sound familiar? This creates an image to justify American control in northern Luzon, causing Wongod to continue her practice mostly on women after headhunting was banned. But now, in present times, you can still find her in the village of Buscolon. Being 108 years old, she openly continues the practice of being a Mamabatok, but at her age, she only does her design of 3 dots, which is her signature tattoo, which represents her and her 2 grandnieces, both of who are continuing this long-held tradition. And as the world continues to evolve, Wongod ensures to stay true to her roots. When American missionaries built Catholic schools in the Kalinga village, the Western ideologies put shame on having tattoos, causing women to cover up and no longer continuing the practice of being a Mamabatok. But like forcing your stubborn grandparent to walk with a crane, she didn't let that stop her. She moved forward in resilience. Despite the judgment of what tattoos carry by the Western culture and her age, she doesn't let it restrain her from pursuing her craft. Many people believe that tattoos mean impurity, especially in the Western culture, but the Kalinga people believed it was the definition of beauty. The more tattoos you had, the more beautiful you were as a woman, or the stronger of a warrior you are as a man. She makes sure to remind us that tattoos are not just an art, but in her culture, it is more than that, and it is being a tradition that shouldn't be forgotten. Because, as mentioned before, Mamabatok tattoos were originally done for ceremonial purposes, for a woman and for the men that were headhunters in the Kalinga tribe. It was, and can still be, done in the traditional or sacred way. Wongod was able to tattoo many people in her village and in the neighboring villages as a way to create community over this ritual practice. She became a renowned artist during her time, and even now, she helps pave the way for many Filipino tattoo artists that are willing to bring back their tribal markings. She also doesn't just connect with other artists, but also the people who are getting tattoos from her. In present time, she tattoos people regardless of where they come from. Native or not, she connects with you, allowing her to share not just her culture, but her tradition. Yet, Wongod cannot tattoo forever, though she has found a way to preserve this tradition. By doing so, she made her 2 grandnieces her apprentices. She has taught her grandniece Grace, and Grace's cousin Eliang, the art of being a Mamabatok. Her resilience continues to show. Even at her age, she mentions how she will continue to tattoo as long as her eyes can see, even if it is just those 3 simple dots that she does on her clients. Although this practice is passed down by bloodline, Wongod didn't have any children of her own, but by passing it down to her grandnieces, she is able to preserve this art. But now more than 2 people are learning how to be a Mamba Batok artist. Wongod has been able to preserve what was once a dying practice to a whole new generation of Mamba Batok artists. Wongod let Filipinos have a glimpse of their culture before the rise of colonization. She isn't just an artist, she has become a role model for many Filipinos, especially the ones from the Buscalan village. By being in Vogue magazine, she has become an important representation of the Philippines and allowing Filipino girls or Filipino descent to be seen in the mainstream media. I am forever honored that I was able to learn about Wongod and what she does. It encourages me, and I hope all Filipinos to continue to learn about our pre-colonial history.